This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Juan Gonzalez. Welcome to all of our listeners and viewers around the country and around the world. In a dramatic move on Friday, a federal judge stayed the deportation of immigrant rights leader Ravi Ragbir, which had been scheduled for the next day, on Saturday. Ragbir is executive director of the New Sanctuary Coalition and won this day after filing a free speech lawsuit that argues immigration officials unconstitutionally use their power to suppress political dissent by targeting outspoken activists for surveillance and deportation. He filed the suit together with Detention Watch Network, the National Immigration Project of the National Lawyers Guild, the New York Immigration Coalition, and Casa de Maryland.
Ravi Ragbir has now been ordered to check in with Immigration and Customs Enforcement again on March 15th. That's his new deportation date. Well, on Saturday, hundreds celebrated a stay to fight another day at a You Can't Deport a Movement rally here in Manhattan, where speakers included the New York City public advocate Letitia James, New Sanctuary Coalition member Judith Paez, and New York Congress member Nydia Velázquez. First, we go to Ravi Ragbir's attorney, Elena Das.
We will take these fights to the courts. ICE keeps saying they're just enforcing the law, these unjust laws. Well, the laws include the Constitution. The laws include due process. They include the First Amendment. You know, to the people who are standing out here, so many of you standing for Ravi, even the people standing in the back, the small crowd that are standing for hate, you're able to do that because of the First Amendment. And none of us deserve to be taken from our homes and our families because we are speaking our own truth.
You can't kill an idea. You can't kill a thought. You can't kill a belief, and you cannot deport a movement.
We are here to claim to put an end to the continued injustice of treating us like criminals, to put an end to the injustice that still separates thousands of families, to put an end to the continuing enriching of a handful of heartless people towards the suffering of millions.
We have to do everything within our power. And that is the reason why I have introduced legislation that will grant Ravi legal permanent status. Or, if he should be deported, a legal right to return. I'm not going to fool anyone. The majority, the Republicans control the House and the Senate. But it is important that when we go before any court, any federal court, that we send a message to the judge that when we have a movement like this, it speaks volumes about the kind of human being that Ravi is.
That was New York Representative Nydia Velázquez and other voices from Saturday's You Can't Deport a Movement rally in New York City. On Friday, Ravi Ragbir's attorney also argued another case on his behalf, this one in the Federal District Court of New Jersey, which challenges the legality of his sole conviction and sentence for wire fraud. Judge Kevin McNulty said he would issue a written opinion on whether he, too, could issue a stay for Ragbir, noting, quote, the damage he'd suffer and the injury he'd suffer as a result of deportation is obvious to me.
Well, for more, we're joined by Ravi Ragbir, Executive Director of the New Sanctuary Coalition. Ravi, welcome back to Democracy Now! I didn't know if you would be in this studio again. Your deportation date was set for Saturday. We were in the Newark courthouse on Friday when, as we were coming in by train, we got the news in another case, not related to the Newark case, that a federal... Was it a federal judge?
It was a federal judge.
A federal judge ruled on a free speech issue in your case and stayed your deportation, which was set for this past Saturday.
Yes, correct. What is even more important to note, the judge didn't issue this on his own. This was an agreement between the government agents, ICE itself, and my attorneys, and they both agreed to stay this deportation, and all the judge did was ratify what was agreed to by Immigration and Customs Enforcement with my attorneys.
And explain what that case was about.
Well, that was about free speech. You know, what we are seeing is a targeting of of leadership, or a targeting of immigrant voices who are speaking out against this travesty, this terrorization of our communities, immigrant communities, our destruction of our families and the people around us. And they're taking this with an intent and with a plan to cause further terror, psychological warfare, they call it, against those people. Because if they take me away, and those, I have a lot of support. What it sends a message: we are going to, no matter who you are, who's supporting you, you will be deported. And people are feeling this everywhere whenever you talk to them.
And were you surprised by that decision? Because, one, that would seem to indicate if the judge and ICE agreed, it's probably because the judge told ICE, I'm going to rule against you. So you may as well come along and do an agreement so you don't have a precedent already set in the court. But it also seems that it's a much more expansive issue than just your particular case, clearly, that is dealing with the whole issue, as you say, of immigrant rights activists being repressed, in effect, by the ICE.
So I want to answer your question with a question. Name any country that doesn't have that doesn't have a strong judicial protection. Even dictatorship has to suppress the judiciary. Name any agency in the United States, criminal justice, the Department of Justice, U.S. Marshal, even the FISA courts, and that's in secret, has to have judiciary approval. Yet, Immigration and Customs Enforcement is saying to the courts, right, this is the third branch of government saying to the courts, you do not have jurisdiction over me. That is what we are at stake here right now. And it's creating, Congresswoman Clark said, it's creating a Gestapo. Who pushed back at what she said, it was the right wing. the Nazis themselves were saying you cannot use those words, but you will have the ACLU speaking about this, where how could an agency not have the court doesn't have jurisdiction over an agency.
Explain what you found as you were about to be deported, when you were about to turn yourself in. This was January 11th, and we're carefully following your case as an example of what happens to others, though it is certainly not typical. At the same time, they were targeting another member of the New Sanctuary movement, Jean Montreville, who did get deported to Haiti. They picked him up before his check-in on the street. ICE agents converged on him next to his home. Mm-hmm. Now, at the same time, and there was a very good piece in The Intercept, ICE is targeting political opponents for deportation, about the surveillance of you before you went for your ICE check-in outside the Judson Church, where your organization is based, mm-hmm. and where people take sanctuary, and outside your home.
So when Jean was picked up, immediately we mobilized to find out what's causing this. Why this sudden shift? Because he had to report to immigration in less than 2 weeks, and it was a clear signal to us, that to me and to my attorneys, that you will come in here, you're not going to be released. But even prior to that, our members who have been trained to be vigilant around their surroundings were saying they've seen cars that look strangely bizarre. People are sitting in the car, not moving. The engine is on, and they're just sitting there for hours.
Black tinted windows.
Government-looking
cars.
Exactly. And with the antennas, those antennas. So hopefully they will change those antennas. But anyhow, we want them to have it. And then on that Wednesday when Jean was picked up, people kept seeing these cars. And it wasn't that they were away from the church. They were literally in front of the door. So as you come out, you're seeing this tinted window, government-looking car, and you're wondering what is happening. Fortunately for us, our people are trained so that we didn't just sit back and hide. Everyone went up and knocked on the windows. Who are you and why are you here? We call NYPD to get involved, because this was we have so many immigrants coming to the space. We don't know where the threat was coming from. And they had to get involved. They didn't get involved, unfortunately, because we assume that ICE had already told them that they were around. But when people, not me, because I couldn't go outside. If I had gone outside, I would have been taken away. When my ministers and the support and my attorneys, they knocked on the window, as they looked down, they saw the ice plate, DHS. Inside a vehicle. And they denied it, but it was obvious. We knew that they were surveilling us. But and not only at the church where we are housed, but we sent a team to my home, and they were surrounded my home waiting for me.
Well, we're going to break, and then we're going to come back to this. But I do want to quote last month the U.S. District Judge Catherine Forrest, who ordered your immediate release from detention if you were held for, what, almost 3 weeks, 18 days, calling your detention, well, she said in a decision she read aloud from the bench, quote, that you had the freedom to say goodbye, and compared your treatment to that of regimes we revile as unjust, regimes where those who have long lived in a country may be taken without notice from streets, home and work and sent away. We are not that country, and woe be the day that we become that country under a fiction that laws allow it. This is Democracy Now! When we come back, we'll expand this discussion. We'll be joined by Lee Gallant of the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, and others to talk about what federal judges are doing around the country right now and what activists are continuing to do on the ground. Stay with us.